rumble.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Weekly Narrative.
What's up, everybody?
Your front row seat to the destruction of the West, as we've got in chat right there.
Hell yeah.
This is your number one alt-centrist live stream on the internet.
Only one.
Hope you're listening from iTunes, Spotify, big tech platform of your choice. Soon to be, big announcement here for you guys, soon to be on Stereo app. That's right.
What's stereo, you say, Jeremy?
What is stereo? Good question.
I know. We don't really know what it is either.
We both just learned about it today. But stereo is part of this new wave of audio-only social media, like Clubhouse. Clubhouse is, well, it's actually being targeted by the media right now because it's a kind of a free speech platform. But not really free speech, but I mean, they have free speech on there, which is what drew my attention to it. So thank you, New York Times, for bringing my attention to that. And it allows the viewers and the listeners to give you questions. Like you can just record a question. You like say, "Hey, Jeremy, what do you think about XYZ?" And then you send it in. We play your question live right there instantly, and then we can respond to it. It's going to be awesome. We're going to look at maybe on the next stream.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get that set up. It's going to require some techno wizardry.
Yeah, we did a little test run earlier, and we had one listener, so that was pretty cool.
That's right. Yeah, we've already established a foothold on that platform.
Whoever joined in, thank you.
And we got to diversify.
Yes.
So we never know if we're going to get kicked off YouTube or what. But anyway.
But this platform is going to be pretty cool, and I think it's going to take off. So we want to just hop on while we can.
That's right. We're going to ride the wave.
Heck yeah.
Got to follow the trends, and that's what we're doing.
Stupid.
Today on the docket, you can see from the stream title there, we're talking about how the media is covering Biden so far.
Okay.
It's very critical.
Oh, yeah.
Very scrutinizing. Yep, as you can imagine.
Got to make sure the media is doing their job.
That's right. We're going to talk about white supremacy and math.
Okay.
And some other white supremacy, the ways that white supremacy manifests in math, courtesy of the state of Oregon's education department, who is pushing out some new guidelines to their schools.
All right. Well, yeah, as we know what's up with Oregon, so we'll see what they have to say.
That's right. And one of my predictions / classifications of one of the trends that we've been seeing has been vindicated and proven correct again.
Yet again?
Yet again. Regarding the 9/11 playbook. We need to start an archive of all the things that I get right. Is that what you're going to say?
Well, I was going to say we need to have like a little stinger that's like, Jeremy was right. Something like that.
Perfect. I'm going to clip that out of the stream, and then we'll use that as a...
And then have a soundboard ready, and just so that way me and you both can just sit here and like just play stuff that we...
Exactly. No, the soundboard is coming also because, we got to get we got to get serious here.
Yeah, we've got to get legit. And nothing says legit like a soundboard with a bunch of wacky sound effects.
Nothing says. We got Stalking Horse in the chat, Athenian, Tyler, Holly, and a new guy, Pocket Salt Gribble. Welcome, guys, in the chat. Welcome. Sit tight, grab a drink. Let's get started. Let's blast that awesome intro. Let's do it. Yeah. And indeed, it's a tough life for the bullhorn shaman dude who's now in jail and he cannot get his organic food. Which, in case you're wondering why we're bringing that up, is because we have that guy in the intro and video.
Yeah, and I made the comment during the intro. I was like, oh, I kind of feel bad for him, but then I don't, so.
All right, I want to start out the show by doing a little recap of a last stream.
Okay.
Because the topic that we talked about, generated some we'll call it buzz, to use a neutral term.
Oh, okay.
The most disliked video I've ever done in my entire life, and it was
when you were debunking Mike Lindell.
I debunked Mike Lindell's election hacking claim.
Oh yeah.
With the document that he presented at the end of his documentary. Not only did the stream get major, I mean, we had people coming in and just losing their minds in the chat.
Yes.
But I made a standalone video of it summarizing that, and I added more detail to it. And then I posted that on Monday. And then people just melted down over it, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
And let me explain to you why. Because as alt-centrists here, some of the people who may watch this have not fully understood. It hasn't really sunk in completely that we are, as we try to be, as objective as possible. That's what an alt-centrist is.
Yeah.
It's an objective observer. So when we see BS, no matter what side it's on,
Yeah.
I'm going to call it out.
Yeah.
So for those of you who didn't understand that, you thought I was like a pro-Trump guy and I was never saying anything bad about Trump, now you understand what's really happening. And for those of you who already knew that, now you get the reinforcement. You see that I'm not messing around, okay?
Yeah.
Now you know I'm the real deal. I'll dunk on anybody. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Because objectivity and truth matters 10 times more than tribal party politics.
I mean, you are pro-Trump, but you're just not pro-stupidity and pro-fake news.
That's a good point.
What Mike Lindell was trying to do was trying to get people riled up and being like, yeah, we still have hope. We still have hope, Patriots.
Trust the plan.
Trust the plan, Patriots. It's like, no, dude. Like, just let it go. That's all you have to do is just let it go. Like, of course, did we want Trump to win? Yes, of course. A lot of people did. Unfortunately, the Democrats were better at winning this time. Like, and I don't want to even say that they cheated because we'll get banned for that. So
Even in the video that I made, I stated specifically that I'm not saying election hacking didn't happen.
No.
I'm saying this specific thing they're pointing out right
Yeah.
here, this did not happen.
what they're trying to prove is say is absolute truth, which is what the video is saying. He's saying this is absolute truth. You were just poking holes in his argument of absolute truth, which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed
Right.
to poke holes in arguments and be like, look, yeah, the passion is there. Like, yes, fraud happened, but to say that this is like absolute definitive proof that it's happened on a widespread scale enough to, lead to this, no, we're going to poke some holes in the argument and just get your bearings a little bit here. It's not that bad.
The moral of the story is we are not Fox News, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, and a lot of you already knew that. So
We're not brown
you got,
nosers.
yeah, a lot of you guys already knew that, and props to you for hanging in there. And some people will hear that, and it will hurt them.
Oh,
like me debunking that, it'll hurt, but they'll still keep watching because they understand the importance of objectivity,
Yeah.
and they may be at a point where they need to get more towards the alt-centrist perspective, where you
Yeah.
are valuing objectivity and truth over the party politics. And those are the people that I want to give the props to the most. So if you
Yes.
heard that and you were upset, but you're still here and you still are open,
Yeah, you
then
still like us,
you're part of the VIPs.
You're the real woke, okay? Mike Lindell, no. He's gone off the rails, folks.
Robert Picklesnickle, the $5 super chat.
Thank you, Robert Picklesnickle.
Says, that's a good point. And frankly, I'm a little sick of hearing about your COVID-19. Classic throwback man, Bam Bam. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Robert. Greatly appreciated. And yeah, we're all tired of hearing about the COVID,
Yeah.
to be honest.
And what's funny that people that are having the meltdown about you debunking Mike Lindell, like here you are tonight are going to probably debunk, and we're going to talk about the leftist media. And
99% of the time, I'm talking trash about the left.
yeah, 99% of the time you talk trash about the left, and everybody agrees with you, and everybody loves you, and like, yeah, Jeremy's the best. And then the one time you speak against somebody that is on our side, quote unquote,
Right.
you're the enemy. No, friends, we're all friends here. Come on now.
That's right. Watch a good point, actually. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up as well.
I think
because one of the people who in the comments specifically said, "Well, you never. Where's your video debunking the Russia collusion hoax?"
Oh my gosh. Do you want us to do a video about that?
No, we don't need to because
don't
I've
need
talked
to.
about that hoax many times.
And if you're so hell bent on it, there's so many documentaries on Amazon Prime where they talk about it. So go watch those.
Well, in this case, they're looking specifically for me to denounce it because they were looking for that tribal indicator that I'm not, the cognitive dissonance was strong. But for those of you who survived it,
It was pretty
Good on you.
glorious to watch. Well, what was hilarious during the stream, because during the stream we had technical difficulties, so we had to restart the stream, and then and Jeremy was like in the middle of his dissection of Mike Lindell's whole video. And so when we restarted the stream, Jeremy was like in the middle of finishing his dissection, and the guy that had the meltdown during the stream only caught the tail end of like the end of the dissection. He didn't even catch the other like 30 minutes of the dissection where you talked about everything else.
it's okay. Can't reach everybody, and it's nice to experience the wrath of the Q people.
Oh, I know. We have yet to face.
I know what that feels like.
We haven't had a Q person have a meltdown on us. So that was nice.
Just the plan.
Just the plan,
All right,
Patriots.
decided to get that out of the way. Just a little, summary of what kind of happened and my stance on that. So, let's move on to the first topic of the night here. This is we gotta try to figure out what the media's stance on Joe Biden is as president.
Okay.
Right. So we're gonna look at some news articles here from various outlets and see if we can't figure out what the tone is.
All right.
The media is taking towards old Biden here. We got one from ABC News here. It says Biden's granddaughter, Naomi Biden, posts photos of her grandfather in swag the family got him for President's Day weekend, including a khaki baseball cap with Camp David insignia on the front. And then there's 2 pictures of Joe in a leather jacket and a hat.
Okay.
It's from ABC News.
Well, what's Camp David?
Camp David is like the private retreat for the president.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. My bad.
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, the relevant part of that is the fact that this is completely just
I know, it's like softball.
fluff piece.
Yeah.
Newsweek, Joe Biden playing as Luigi wins in Mario Kart race against granddaughter at Camp David.
Oh, that's a real hot take, Newsweek.
Hard hitting.
Super hard hitting. To the point.
This is what you guys need to know. Okay, are you surprised
Did you see
that you didn't know that already, that he was playing as Luigi?
how horrible is Joe Biden? He won. He didn't let his granddaughter win. He won. He had
That's
to
a
be the
great
winner.
point, actually.
What
That's-
a terrible
That's
grandfather.
definitely patriarchal white supremacy right
That's some
there.
patriarchal, super white supremacy right there.
I mean, yeah, clearly they're taking a little bit of a positive slant to this. Politico, historians and relationship experts agree the first couple's romantic gestures aren't just genuine, they're restorative.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Politico, for that.
Okay, so how the
I haven't gotten my $1,400 check yet, but I'm glad that their relationship is, genuine.
I'm glad that they have a nice amount of PDA for your liking. I'm glad that their PDA is perfect.
What's up, Anthony? Welcome to the chat. Dari. CNN.com, President Biden has expressed a preference for a fire built in the Oval Office fireplace, and sometimes he adds a log himself to keep it going.
Oh, wow.
Unlike his recent predecessors, he's more of an early-to-bed type.
Oh, okay, well.
Here's how Joe Biden is settling into his new job. So he signed, 8 million executive orders. We canceled all this stuff. We pissed off Canada. We're pissing off, people foreign
Gonna tear down
relation-wise.
the big, beautiful wall that Trump's built.
We're going to let in a bunch of illegal immigrants on the southern border.
We're
We don't
also
have
gonna-
enough
we're also
vaccines.
We're also going to put them back in the cages.
We're putting more kids in cages, but we need to hear about the fireplace.
Yeah, the fireplace is the most important thing, and the fact that he is so resourceful enough to add the log to the fire himself. Oh my God, so brave.
That's a great point, actually. The white supremacist, patriarchal Trump definitely would never add a log himself. He would call in the black slave labor with a secret button under his desk to have it done for him.
And call him a racial slur on their way out.
Yes. Yeah, stalking horse ready to use the banhammer. Well implemented last time. You gave him plenty of leeway. They got a bunch of messages in before you banned him, so I appreciate
I know,
that.
he didn't even.
Well moderated.
It was good moderation, stalking horse. That was great.
Yeah, if they start drooling at the mouth and just rapidly, if they have signs of rabies, then I think that the banhammers is appropriate there. Which is basically what we were dealing with on chat on the last. How can you dare you say this, you idiots? Mike Lindell's infallible.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Mike Lindell, the owner of MyPillow, he can do no wrong.
You know what? I'll buy MyPillow just to make those guys happy.
I know.
It's probably comfortable.
Yeah, you can write it off as a business expense, Jeremy.
All right, this is a little bit of a patting on my own back here because I've been telling you guys who else. Good question. Call me out in chat right now if you've heard anybody else call it the 9/11 playbook. This whole Capitol riot thing, where they're targeting white people, targeting Trump supporters in the same exact manner that they were targeting terrorists or Arabs after 9/11. Who has used the phrase 9/11 playbook in reference to that aside from me? I want to see it in chat if there is any, because guess what? We got here right now from the Wall Street Journal or in the outlet of your choice. Nancy Pelosi outlines steps to create a 9/11 style commission to investigate the Capitol riot.
Oh, yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. So, you know,
Another one of Jeremy was right.
maybe it's not the most profound prophecy ever to come true, but I will claim this vindication right now. I'm not going to go through the story because we don't really care about Nancy Pelosi or her BS 9/11 style commission. I just wanted to point out that I was able to see the trend and make the exact correlation, because it literally is. When the term playbook means there's a binder with step-by-step instructions for a situation. And that's what this is. They're reopening that binder that's 20 years old, and they're saying, okay, what do we do now? We just demonize this entire population, restrict control, monitor all their communications, shut down all their ability to communicate, etc. Form a commission.
Make it harder for them to protect themselves and have privacy.
It's all right there in the playbook. It's not exactly a hard thing to predict.
I'm gonna close that window real quick.
Go for it.
Don't want to get that too much urban sound.
A log himself. Yeah. No one made a Sleepy Joe comment. Whoops, my joke. Oh. They want to restrict their movement while letting people cross the southern border. Yeah, how about that? They're talking about shutting down domestic travel to Florida while letting tens of thousands of people in on the southern border. Heard it today, 9/11 style. Okay, so Holly, that doesn't count because this Nancy Pelosi story came out yesterday, I think. So it has to be before yesterday. If you heard anybody say 9/11 playbook in reference to the Capitol stuff, as far as I know, I'm the only one. Just saying. So, how much will that commission cost? Yeah, exactly. So the interesting thing about that is, and I'm not going to go too deep into this, but I do want to point out how not only are we in the middle of a pandemic, and not only did they just lose humiliatingly the impeachment trial, this came off after the impeachment trial. Nancy Pelosi literally said, well, I think because of the facts that we learned during the impeachment trial, we have to move forward with a 9/11 style commission. So this came off of that. It's a continuation because, again, what do we all know the leftists as being sore losers? So this is a continuation of that trend.
Hell yeah! If we can't beat them fairly, we'll just come after them and take their guns.
Yeah, so Dari's got a fair point. Maybe it wasn't even Nancy that brought it up for the first time, but they've been talking about a 9/11 style commission for a couple days.
Oh yeah, they've been wanting to do this. They've been wanting to do something like this since Trump got elected. They just haven't had good enough reason for the last 4 years.
We have to. The Trump is out of office, so we have to demonize all Trump supporters now. They are the new target. Again, it kind of goes back into my other prediction of, what now that Biden's in, we have to start a new war.
Yeah.
But the war is looking more and more like it's going to be a domestic one against our own people.
It's going to be
you and me. Mm-hmm. And you know what they're going to do to restrict our ability to organize and communicate?
Take down social media platforms?
Take down social media platforms. That's right. So you're looking at a bouncy castle.
Hell yeah, those things are hella fun.
We're on a New York Times article called Clubhouse, a tiny audio chat app, breaks through. Ooh. This 11-month-old app has exploded in popularity, even as it grapples with, you guessed it, harassment, misinformation, there's that keyword, and privacy issues. By Taylor Lorenz. You may have seen that name before. She writes a lot of social justice articles here. This was published yesterday and updated today.
Okay.
So maybe they retracted or updated some information in here. What's up, Ball Minus One? It's
What's up, Bill?
Bill in the house. I was over in Bill's stream earlier today, watching him.
I love Bill.
Good stuff.
I watched your stream with what was her name, Blonde and the Beast or whatever.
Blonde and the Belly of the Beast.
Yeah, she was cool. That was a fun one.
So Clubhouse is a new audio app that's a social media platform. Basically, for those who haven't heard about it, and probably most of you haven't because it's brand new, you can host a chat room that's just audio. Okay. And then the premise is that you kind of give like a talk or you give a speech or you do a podcast like we're doing right now, but with just audio. And then you have people listening and then you can bring people in to also talk with you as well.
That's a cool idea.
For the most part, you're just talking, but then you can also bring somebody in who, like raises their hand. They have something to say. You bring them in. Now, the problem with this.
Oh, yeah, I can see a lot of problems with this.
Is that, first of all, they're not recorded. There's no historical information of these things happening. And that poses a big problem for, Taylor and all these other people in the Washington Post and New York Times who want to dig through your past and find, nefarious things in your history that they can use to dig up and discredit you. So if you were in a chat room listening to, anybody conservative, or, you were listening to Dan Crenshaw talk about how they need to have more border patrol protection, they could classify you as a racist because you were listening to xenophobic ideas on Clubhouse.
God.
That's right. So
Bill says time to use carrier pigeons.
yes.
Go back to the olden days.
Yeah, it is only available on Apple iOS currently. We'll see if they expand it to Android. Download. Okay, no. So from San Francisco, Robert Van Winkle, who's better known as the rapper Vanilla Ice,
Oh, ice.
held court online last week with more than 1,000 fans using this app. So just a way to, I think that's what they're trying to say with this.
Jesus.
Yeah, we got the regional transit train outside right behind me, just
Honking his horn.
blasting the horn because apparently there's a vagrant in the street blocking the rail.
No, there's a truck up the street that's up blocking the rail. They're just like
Jesus.
parked right on the rail.
I'm trying to do show here, people. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, so I'm not gonna go through the whole. What they do with this article is they try to fluff it by saying, "Oh, look at how fun and cool this new app might be eventually," but they get into they get the twist towards the end of the article, and that's really what I want to point out here. So we'll start about 3/4 of the way down here. The attention to this app has overwhelmed the tiny San Francisco startup, which has around a dozen employees and was founded by two entrepreneurs, Paul Davison and Rohan. The guy's name is Rohan.
Rohan.
That's awesome.
It is pretty badass.
While Clubhouse raised more than $100 million in funding last month, so it's going to be a big deal, and was valued at $1 billion.
Ooh,
12-person company valued at $1 billion already, and it's only in beta.
that's pretty big.
Has struggled to handle the surging traffic. So I'm not talking about this as some kind of obscure platform that nobody's used. There's invite codes for this platform on eBay that are selling for like $100 just to get access to it because it's in closed beta. You can't just sign up and join like any other app. You have to get an invite to it. So it's a high demand tool. Just to paint the picture of what you're looking at here.
Oh, it's gonna just draw the wrong crowds. You already know that.
Well, that's what the New York Times wants us to believe because they continue on to say Clubhouse is also contending with rising complaints about harassment, misinformation, and privacy.
Oh,
of course,
wow, okay.
misinformation is the new kind of the buzzword from 2020.
Yep.
In one incident last month, a user promoted conspiracy theories. Oh God, anything but conspiracy theories.
Oh my God, not those.
About the coronavirus vaccines and discouraged people from getting the shots, leading to harassment of a female doctor. Oh no, harassment of a female doctor.
And yeah, she probably felt harassed, but it probably wasn't actually harassment.
No. Yeah, we already
know that it wasn't.
We don't have to read the
real
story to
harassment.
know that was BS. This month, German and Italian regulators publicly questioned whether Clubhouse's data practices complied with European data protection laws, and China blocked the app after political conversations popped up on it outside the country's tight internet controls.
Well, of course, China blocked it because China doesn't want anybody talking about anything but how amazing China is.
Right. Yeah. So.
And they don't want anybody to hear about how great other places are besides China.
Yeah, exactly. And that has nothing to do specifically with the Clubhouse app. China just blocks new apps by default, probably. Any new app that comes up that has anything to do with communication, they just block because exactly what you said. They don't want anyone
We don't want to risk it.
communicating outside the Great Firewall.
We don't want to risk it. Chance it. No way. No way, no how. Too many thoughts. Mm-hmm. You're only supposed to have one.
Okay, so we're going to scroll down here a little bit more because they throw some more fluff in here.
Of course.
The app caught on as people sought new ways to connect with one another in the pandemic. Some of its earliest users were Silicon Valley venture capitalists such as Mark Anderson and his business partner Ben Horowitz, who introduced Clubhouse to their networks. Oprah Winfrey, MC Hammer, and John Mayer joined as well.
Oh, got
There's
some big names.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a feeling of access that's really hard to replicate. Now, I understand this point because if you've seen how Clubhouse works, you're in this kind of private, it's not really private, but you're in a chat room with somebody and you're just listening directly to whoever it is talking. So imagine you're on a phone call with Oprah That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Which is what the appeal is of this application. You're on a phone call.
It's like a conference call.
Yeah, you're on a phone call with whoever it is, whatever name, whatever celebrity you want. That's why this platform is starting to take off, because it actually does induce an interesting feeling of being close to somebody like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of how live feeds are on Instagram and TikTok and all of these social media platforms. Some people's lives, you can actually like talk to them and communicate. You might even like send them a request to join their live, and you can go live with them. So it's just a fun, different way to connect, and it's more, like you said, it's more like a phone call. So I could see the appeal.
Right. And Holly in chat says it triggers FOMO, which is fear of missing out. It's a great point too, because people want in because they feel like they're missing out. That's kind of self-explanatory. I probably didn't need to explain that. But anyway, let's continue on with the article. The growth, oh yeah, here we go. So now we're getting into the nitty gritty. Okay, they've set the stage. They've made the reader understand what the application is, and now we're going to put our opinion in here. The growth has been accompanied by criticism that women and people of color are frequent targets of abuse. Of course, right? But what does that really mean, abuse? And that discussions involving, here it comes, anti-Semitism, homophobia, racism, and misogyny are on the rise. So they get all the way down the article, and the author was like, wait a second, I didn't put any buzzwords in here. And then they just dump them all into one paragraph.
It's more like these people don't have anywhere else to go and talk about their feelings of these things. So they're trying a new platform, and you're just the dumbass that thinks anything that anybody says that might be a little bit on the offensive side, or has any kind of thought that you deem offensive, you just automatically put the ism or the ist on it. Like,
Portia Bell, 32, a Clubhouse influencer in Houston, said that after she spoke up about misogyny on the app, which, again, what does that even mean? It doesn't really mean anything at all.
Bullshit.
People formed rooms to encourage one another to report her account so she would be barred. Okay, that's awesome. I think
that's pretty good.
That's...
I like that, especially if she's talking about stupid shit.
No, somebody just offended her, and then she called it misogyny because it was mentioning her being a female in some manner, and then everyone recognized that she was insufferable, and then they just band up to get her reported and banned. I think that's hilarious.
I think that's good.
Her account was suspended last Monday. She said she had tried appealing to the company but found little recourse. My page is suspended while the bullies get to roam free, she said.
Maybe you're the bully, lady.
No, she is. When you claim misogyny, that's a great point, actually. When you claim misogyny and homophobia and racism and all that, you're just
You're being the bully.
It's just a modified bully tactic. That the trick is that you position yourself as a morally superior.
Yes.
In order to bully them. That's all that is.
Yeah. Instead of being the bully that like picks on the weaker kid, They're
punching up.
You're punching up.
It's a way they can use the punch up.
Yeah, you're like uppercutting. You're uppercutting people that are bigger than you, and you're like mad that.
Yeah, they're mad that they fought back.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you can eat it. Anyway, Rachel Dooley, a social media manager in Austin, Texas, who is deaf.
Oh no.
Says she had been blocked and kicked out of some Clubhouse rooms.
Well, why is she on there if she's deaf?
I can see it show up on the closed caption. People saying, quote, why is this deaf lady on an audio app? She said, I'd freeze and start crying.
It's a perfectly rational question. I asked that question. Why
New
are
York Times is really stretching here to try and make a case against this app.
Why are you on there, hon, if you're deaf?
It's an audio only app, and she goes on there as a deaf person and then cries. Jesus Christ. This is the world you're living in, people.
You can't get much better than that.
Welcome to 2021.
It's like it would be the equivalent of like a deaf person paying money to go to a concert and then crying because they can't enjoy it, because they can't hear it.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much what it is.
That's so, oh my God.
And then New York Times thinks that's a completely valid reason.
They're ableist.
That's a completely valid argument against the app, New York Times thinks, and then they put it in this article.
So does that mean like iTunes and Apple Music and all that stuff, all the music platforms are ableist because, deaf people, deaf people can't hear it?
Yep. It definitely is. You need a machine that can produce Braille live so you can rub your hand on it.
Braille's for blind people.
Oh, yeah. No,
sign language is for deaf people.
Oh, yeah. They need to translate everything
to
sign
language. Yeah, they need to have a translator.
Jesus. Anyway, Clubhouse has a blocking feature to give some users more control over their spaces. Good. That's all you need. Let the people dictate their own stuff. That's where Twitter and Facebook and all these other platforms fall into the trap of trying to pretend like they can create an environment that suits their needs and matches their ideals. It's not possible.
Yeah.
And then you heard Jack Dorsey, who is the leader, whatever you want to call him, of Twitter. I don't know. He's still a CEO, owner, founder, whatever you want to call it. He was on Joe Rogan podcast and he talked about how, we can't scale our moderation to 80 million viewers or whatever. It's like, dude, yeah, no shit, you can't, because it's impossible. The model is you let the people block their own whatever they don't want to see, they block. The people moderate themselves. You don't have to step in. Clubhouse is kind of having that until they get the pressure from the media anyway. That's the angle that they're taking. So
Let the market handle it.
let the people handle and moderate themselves.
Yeah, let people like put thumbs up or thumbs down to things. Like actually do that instead of you.
No. It's not enough for you, because you don't know when you're exposed to bad content. So we need to block for you. You
Okay.
can't just block.
You need to be my thought police.
If Alex Jones comes across your feed or something like that, we need to make sure that you're not hearing him, because that's
Yeah,
harmful.
We need to protect my thoughts from the likes of him.
Yes, and New York Times, they're making this argument that that has in turn sometimes created disputes about access, says New York Times, including with a New York Times journalist. Yeah, because she probably got on there and she was fishing for people that were, calling people retards so that she could write a report about it.
Right. For real though, she was. It's like have people on. She sent an ad in her newspaper and said, "Have you been harassed or harangued by people on this app?
Yeah, no, it's really what it is.
Tell me your story and I'll pay out."
Kimberly Ellis, 48, an American and Africana Studies scholar.
God.
American and Africana Studies scholar. So right,
You
just
already
off the bat,
know-
this person is
You already know that this person's hateful.
just a fountain of hateful BS.
Yep.
At Carnegie Mellon University, who leads workshops on digital safety. Digital safety. See,
Oh
you
my
can't
God.
moderate yourself. And this is a callback to what we talked about on the last stream too, because the kids, the content that they get in the schools, you have to tell the kids what to think. You can't let them observe the universe and learn for themselves.
Yep.
So this is direct callback to what we talked about already.
And teaching them to just kind of teaching them to learn skills to differentiate between all that. No, that's gone. No way. Why would we do that?
In Sunday's Clubhouse discussion, Mr. Davison said the company has explicit rules against spreading misinformation, hate speech, abuse, and bullying. The startup said last year that it was adding advisors and safety features and empowering moderators. Yet, Clubhouse has also enabled people living under strict censorship in countries such as China and Turkey to speak freely about many topics. Some users said they were hooked.
Huh. Wow. So
So-
critical of this app when it comes to deaf people, but yeah, let's let Chinese people and stuff.
Well, they I don't know why they let that in there. Whoever the editor was that allowed this article to pass is an idiot, because
know.
in the same article, now you can see they're making the argument against it here in America while also pointing out that it's good for people who have restricted speech.
Right? So we want to
Like, no, we want to restrict it.
we want to strict it here, but in other places where they have strict speech, we want them to have free reign.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a great thing.
Yeah, so
Because they don't have it. So, but we need it. We need it like they have it.
the moral
We need
behind
more of it.
What's up, Mitch? With the moral behind this article, and the reason we talk about this is because we've already seen in the past few weeks, big tech and big media, legacy media, as we like to call it here, because they're old,
Old as
legacy
dirt.
media targeting Parler, targeting Gab, targeting Telegram, targeting Signal,
Yep.
targeting now Clubhouse, targeting any application where people can congregate, any application that isn't under the purview of the big tech, kind of the big tech fascist government relationship,
Overlords.
which is what fascism is. It's a close relationship of the
the
government.
new media.
The new media. That's a good. Yeah, it's a good
They
word
are
for
the
it.
new media.
So anything that's not, quote, the new media, that's part of the gang, they're targeting because they want to bully them into either falling under the control of the government or to destroy them completely.
Yeah. Get rid of them.
We saw Parler, they got taken offline. I think they're back now, actually,
They are?
after like 3 weeks.
Okay.
So Parler got destroyed
That's cool.
because their ISP or whatever it was kicked them off because of pressure from big tech and the government. And now they're back. Gab, all these other platforms are now they're in a constant battle of against stuff like this,
Yeah.
where big tech and big media, legacy media, is going to target them for absolutely no reason other than the fact that they aren't part of the club,
Yep.
and they're going to allow people to talk without being moderated, without being censored. That's
Without somebody looking over their
that
shoulder
is
and
the
listening in.
exactly that's exactly what they don't want. That's the worst possible thing for them, is to have people talking without being moderated, without the capacity to copy and paste what somebody's saying, and shame them in an article.
Right? It's a scary time we live in, folks.
Yeah, welcome to
Welcome to 2021, y'all. Bill says 17 watching, but only 4 likes. All right, Bill's right. We need to get the engagement up, guys.
yeah. Come on, let's pump that engagement
Come
up,
on,
folks.
we need more likes or thumbs down. You know, we'll take those too. We like those.
Scaling back is always effective, but it decentralizes power, and megalomaniacs don't like that. Yeah, it's true.
Well, I'm all for industry and letting the market speak for itself. So I, for one, am happy to jump on board with this new app that we just found today. So
Anthony says emotional assault weapon, fully semi-auto assault words. No, there's a lot of those on.
there's tons of those.
A lot of those on Clubhouses, which is why we need to get rid of it immediately.
Yeah, we need to stop them.
It's not even out yet. That's what's fascinating about this is they're not sitting around letting things naturally come to them and then reacting to it. They're actively going out and scouting and looking for potential threats.
Yep.
And then they're doing this. They're doing preemptive hit pieces.
They're aborting them before they even have a chance.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, and that's the scariest part. Okay, if it was a situation where they were just it was organically passing across their desk like a breeze in the wind, there wouldn't be so much of a cause for concern. There wouldn't be a reason to be paying a lot of close attention to this. But that's not what's happening. They're going out on raiding parties like the Vikings, trying to find new applications that are being built on the shores of England, and then just raiding them. That's what this is.
Yeah. They're just...
it's preemptive.
It is totally preemptive. It's quite sad. They're that scared. They're that worried.
Yeah, no, we're beyond the stage where we're looking at what's out there right now and then trying to censor that. We're looking for what's coming on the future and pre-censoring, pre-shaming, and pre-shutting down.
I could understand if Clubhouse had like millions of people on there that were streaming all the time. But if there's not very many people on there and it's not even available to the public yet, like, this is just sad.
Nope, not even publicly available.
That's kind of sad. But it doesn't surprise me in the world that we live in. So
Parler's coming back onto their own platform. Yeah, and I think their CEO stepped down too or something like that. Emotional assault weapon. That was really good, yeah.
it was a good one. And there's no, like, as Stalking Horse says, there's no ammo shortage for those. Mothers are very good with the emotional ammunition. So go to your mother for all that.
It's true. Or any woman in general.
Yeah, any woman in general, but mothers especially.
Psychological warfare experts. Let's move on to our next topic. One in a segment that we do regularly here on the Weekly Narrative. If you're just listening on the podcasts, you can watch the show live with chat. You can interact with us. YouTube.com/Weekly Narrative.
It's always a good time.
7 p.m. PST, 10 on Tuesdays and Saturdays every week. This is our 40th in a row. Fist bump on that. That's 20 weeks straight, folks. We haven't missed one show.
I know, it's been good.
That's how much we're not messing around.
Even
just
when
so you
we
know.
were in Reno, we gave you guys a show.
Even when we were in Reno, even when we had COVID, everything. We don't care. We do it. And so just a shout out there, kind of a quarter show, half shout out there.
Half shout out.
Yep. We'll do our next segment is one that we talk about quite often. That's schools.
Oh God.
Because schools are the future. So,
yes, unfortunately they
we look at schools to get a glimpse into the future. This is a fun one that I found from Newsweek.
Oh,
called,
reputable.
Yep, Newsweek says, this is from today, brand new. Everything I do is cutting edge, guys. This is nothing stale here.
Hot off the press.
Oh, no, from yesterday, sorry. Transgender boy book prompts Utah school district to suspend reading program.
What?
That's right, transgender boy book.
Okay, well, God.
Because they need to know.
We gotta stop the we gotta stop all the transphobia going on, folks.
Really, there's an epidemic of transphobia,
huge,
and the way that we fix
epidemic.
that is by pumping our children full of propaganda. So as a preface, we don't cover these stories as rage bait or anything like that. I'm not sitting over here like, oh my God, look at these schools.
We're just here to laugh, honestly.
Laughing is part of it. That's 50%, but the other 50% is to make sure you're aware of where this country is going, because the children are the future.
They are.
So, a book about a transgender boy has prompted a school district in Utah to suspend its book program after the story was read to third graders.
Oh no.
Why are third graders learning about transgender?
Yeah, that's my question. That's why
By
I
the way,
said, oh no.
transgender is like 0.01% of the population,
Yeah, if that.
if that. So why did we choose this random population, this random statistic of people to educate third graders on?
Especially in Utah, where there's like no transgenders or hardly any.
Well, that's kind of why there was a little bit of outrage here. Call Me Max is the name of the book.
Ooh.
Here's the cover.
Oh.
Call Me Max
Call me Max.
was read to a class last month after a student brought a copy of the book to the Horizon Elementary School in Murray. The story involves a young transgender boy who embarks on a, quote, journey as he makes new friends and reveals his feelings about his identity to his parents. Oh my God.
Maybe.
According to a description on Amazon.
Okay. Well, I mean, personally, I don't think that that's a trans man or trans boy. I think it's just a little girl that likes to dress like a
Do
boy.
you think a third grader knows even what sex is?
No, not really.
Nope.
They're barely understanding their body parts at that point.
They're not even aware that they have a body at that point.
Yeah, they really don't. They don't even know how to wash it at that point.
The author says that his series is about a young trans boy figuring out who he is, making new friends, and sharing about himself with his family and community. The publisher says it's a sweet and age-appropriate introduction to what it means to be
I
transgender.
don't think so. I don't think that we should be introducing these kinds of things to kids. No.
The book begins with a school teacher taking class attendance. Can you call me Max? The boy asks, noting that his name on the roll doesn't match how he sees himself. The retelling of the story prompted students to ask teacher questions. Yeah, no shit. One of which was specifically about puberty, because that's what you want to talk about in third grade. Murray School District spokesman told the Salt Lake Tribune.
I just don't like the fact that this is.
It gets better.
Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
It gets better. Here we go. All right, this is where it gets good.
Okay.
So, let me scroll down to the good part here. Okay, the school district sent a letter to parents last week informing families that the Equity Books program. That's right, folks. You've heard it here talked about plenty of times before. Equity.
We need equity.
Equity here and there. Equity there. The Equity Books program we put on hold as a review of the literature is undertaken in order to determine if any of the books are similar in topic or may cause concern. And they say anything in our libraries is fair game for teachers to use right now, including many books that are in the bundle program. In fact, the bundle program. Oh wait, so remember that they say that anything in the libraries is fair game. Okay, remember that. In fact, the bundle program is by no means an exhaustive list of books on equity. Our libraries have many others. So let me scroll down a little bit here. Lukoff. Let's wait a second here. Where is they were excluding some other books, and I want to get that list. Oh, here we go. Teachers in the area were told they would not be able to include on their curriculum Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird,
Okay.
Mark Twain's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn,
Oh, of course.
John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men,
Oh, yeah, totally.
Theodore Taylor's The Kay and the Mildred, and Mildred D. Taylor's Roll of Thunder, Hear Me Cry.
What the fuck?
So all those books.
Have
No
racial
go.
stuff in them?
Yep, no, it's out. For four parents, 3 of whom were black, challenged the classic novels for alleged potential harm.
Oh, yeah, it's so much harm to learn about history.
But it's definitely not introducing any potential harm to confuse kids about their gender and sexuality when
Yeah,
they're
I was
in
just
third
about
grade.
to say the exact same thing. So there's no harm being done teaching kids that, oh, little girls can be little boys and little boys can be little girls, but there's harm in To Kill a Mockingbird.
It's not even necessarily harmful. It doesn't have to be harmful to be censored. The criteria to be censored, as they say right here, is that it could have the potential to harm.
I'd say that teaching little boys and girls that transgenderism is a real thing is way more potential for harm.
Well, let's look at it from an objective standpoint. Transgenderism is associated with what's the most recent stats on the suicide? Last I heard it was 40%.
Yeah, it was like 40%, 30 or 40%, something like
So if
that.
you're teaching a child an ideology or an idea that's strongly associated with a 40% suicide rate,
Yep.
is there any, quote, potential for harm there?
Yeah, and also not only is it high suicide rate, but just high rates for mental illness in general, and higher rates for potential crime happening to you. Not to mention the amount of mutilation that your body has to go through if you actually do decide to medically transition.
Oh yeah, and if they're putting their kids on hormone blockers, before the age of 10 these days,
Yeah,
which
these
makes them infertile. They
These
can't even
kids are
procreate.
getting, like, if these kids are learning before puberty that they might be born in the wrong body and are forced to take puberty blockers, the irreparable damage that does on a child's
No potential
hormone
harm.
system.
Nah, no potential harm. Just call me Max.
But To Kill a Mockingbird and Huckleberry Finn,
Yep.
so much more harm in
Harm.
those.
So much harm.
Even though both authors wrote these books for a specific reason.
Those are full automatic assault books.
Right.
Full of yeah.
Wow, okay.
However, other teachers, organizations, and students have argued that the book's inclusion in teaching makes material is essential for supporting a conversation about contemporary racism. So there are some people, this is Utah, remember,
Yeah.
who are trying to argue that those books need to be in the curriculum.
They do, because it teaches us about our history and how we dealt with problems in our history. And even though they may not have been fair, it's still part of our history. It's just, oh my God.
Dari says, what the heck? So the book title is My Brother Has a Penis Sitting Next to Green Eggs and Ham.
Well, if it's a trans man, then there's no penis there.
My sister
Oh, my
has a penis. No,
Yeah.
he said my brother's penis, but that's...
It would
yeah.
be should be my sister, but because trans men
Yeah, no,
have these
he meant
invisible
sister.
dicks, apparently we have to say that they have penises.
Yeah, aren't you glad that we got through school before this kind of stuff
I
started
am
happening? Jesus,
so-
we got to read. I got to read Goosebumps. I got to read To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yep,
I
I got to read To Kill a Mockingbird. I got to read Goosebumps. I even got to read
I don't know why I brought up Goosebumps.
Goosebumps is a good one.
That was what was on sale at all the book sales. You go to the book sales,
They were good books
and
too.
you get like the Hardy Boys and the Goosebumps. That's what I got.
I got the Goosebumps. I did the Hardy Boys. I did Nancy Drew because I'm a girl. And
Yeah,
I mean, I read Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer, both American classics for a reason. Mark Twain was a very good author. Really.
no, these are actual good books,
Yeah, these are actually really
and
good
they're
books.
being replaced because it's not the right ideology.
And I mean, there were so many books that I read in my school that were on the banned list. And my high school teacher, English teacher, she made sure to give us a list of all the banned books because there was a lot of books on there that you look and you're like, wait, why is this banned? I mean, hell, the Bible was banned the Bible's still banned in quite a lot of countries. So to me, the books that are the ones that get banned or the ones that get taken off shelves are usually the ones that have the best information.
Tyler
So-
says he had to get parent permission in order to check out Harry Potter in elementary school. That's
Oh,
funny.
wow.
This is how they depopulate. Brainwash children, give them hormones, psychologically terrorize them so they only consume and then produce but never procreate. That's right. They're creating an army of mindless consumers. That's what this is.
Zombies.
The kids literally can't procreate once they give them hormones. They're completely mind wiped. Let's just call it mind wiped.
Yep.
They're not filling them with any particular ideas. They're just literally just wiping their brains
Yep. Filling it with fluff.
to be consumers only,
Debt
and then
cattle.
sending them out into the world. You have to be debt cattle. There was a great picture. I wish I could find it right off the bat, but you guys may have seen this floating around Twitter, social media. There was a poster made by children. It's in crayons, and so it's one of those things where like the teacher draws. They read a title in the middle of the poster, and then the kids draw pictures to signify what they think that idea represents. So in the middle of the poster, it said American culture.
Oh,
or said,
no.
it said this is American culture. And then guess what they drew all over the rest of the poster? Corporate logos. McDonald's, Nike,
Wow.
you name it. There's all
That's
it was
what-
just all corporate logos.
So that's what their parents
That's what American culture is.
to children nowadays.
It goes exactly to what Bill just said in chat. They're being mind wiped into just being mindless consumers, mindless, sterile consumers. If that's not the awesome plot of a dystopian movie, I don't know what is. We literally live in a dystopian future, folks. We are mind wiping and sterilizing our population right before your eyes.
Well, I mean, we've known about branding and all that stuff, not like marketing and all that stuff, and how easy it has been for our culture to just have been infiltrated by these icons that mean nothing, and then we take away things that actually do mean things. I think it was documentary Super Size Me, the one where the guy ate nothing but McDonald's for a month.
Yep.
But while he was doing that, he was also interviewing children and parents and families, and he would like show pictures to children, and he'd ask them like, "Who is this?" And it was a picture of Ronald McDonald, and the children immediately knew, It's Ronald. That's
Oh, yeah.
Ronald McDonald.
Right.
Hold up a picture of Jesus Christ to these kids. And every single one of them goes, I don't know who that is. Holds up a picture of George W. Bush.
Yep.
Who's that? I don't know who that is. Is that Grandpa? Like, this is what
Right.
this is what they're pumping into our children, to recognize logos, to recognize companies, and that's what we associate with our country, instead of, oh shit, my mic's all fucked up. Instead of teaching our kids about what's important, what actually means anything nowadays. It's quite sad.
No, it's true. Mind wiping to be debt cattle.
To be total debt cattle.
Rules for radical kids. Rules for radicals. Yeah, no, it's good.
You're not cool if you're not a radical anymore. But nowadays, to me, it's like you're more punk rock if you go against all of the supposed radicals. You're like even more punk rock.
I'm trying to do a quick search here to see if I can find that, because it's I think it'd be worth a while for you guys to see this, but
On the
if I can't find it, yeah, in a grand total of about 10 more seconds, I'm gonna pass up on it here. Okay. No. Moving on.
Moving on. Okay.
Okay, the next topic we have is, oh man, we have a triple.
Triple school.
Yep, this is gonna be.
Triple anti-school.
Now, we talked about white supremacy a lot here on the stream before.
Of course.
And we've seen the scope of what white supremacy is increase.
Well, yeah, they're just redefining
Scope
it.
creep, some would call it scope creep. You know, the just the definition just gets bigger and bigger and wider every year. I want a little bit of I want to see what is the strength. So we've seen things like, you know, keeping time is white
Yes.
supremacy. Working hard is white supremacy. Things like that. So I want everyone in chat to tell me the strangest thing or two that you've seen white supremacy claimed as, because we're going to go through a few here, and I bet we're going to get a new one on your list. We're going to add to your lists, and I want to see if we're going to add something that's even stranger than what you already have.
The definition is already ever expanding.
It
so.
really could be anything. You
It's
know, like
everything.
marshmallows are white supremacy, probably.
The building, this the U.S. Bank building right behind us is white supremacy.
Having a clean car,
Yep.
probably white supremacy.
Having a nice car is white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Taking care of your taking care of your family is white supremacy.
Taking care of your family, having parents, having a
Having
mom
true
and dad.
parents is
White
colonialism.
supremacy. Yep, definitely.
Bill says bland food is white supremacy. It's part of it, Bill.
Somebody probably actually claimed that as white supremacy. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about a new directive from the state of Oregon going out to the Department of Education to elementary schools on a pathway to equitable math instruction, dismantling racism in mathematics instruction.
Okay, didn't know that there was race involved in math, but I'm listening.
Well, it's because you're a white supremacist.
I guess.
You didn't recognize your own supremacy and your own privilege.
I mean, I'm not very good at math, but I thought math was just about numbers, not about ideas. But we'll see. I guess I've just been I've been off the grid for a while.
Math is just purely logic, right? That's really all it is.
It's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be, but it's turning into something completely different. And we're going to go over a few of the ways that is right now.
Osis says black white supremacists can't have any better parody than that, and they went there years ago. Oh yeah, Dave Chappelle did a great job with that one.
Well, yes, the bland food was on the Smithsonian infographic. There you go. The Smithsonian came out with a list of things that were white supremacy.
Bland food?
And bland food is apparently one of them.
Pretty sure bland food can come from all cultures.
So let's go through this and figure out. So every month we're going to go through it, ask ourselves a question as teachers and parents.
Okay.
And the community in general.
As we should.
Yeah, so, we're going to ask, who are my students, for example? In September, we're going to ask, who are my students?
Yes.
And the white supremacy culture shows up in math classrooms when
Oh, no.
students are tracked into courses and pathways and within the classroom.
What?
Too often, yeah, no. You have as many questions as I do. Maybe we can get some information from the description here.
Okay.
Too often, students are tracked based on the notion that adults know what the right thing is for them, which does not allow the room for student agency, reinforcing paternalism and power hoarding. Following the same vein, leadership decides which teacher is right for which course without allowing input from the teachers, students, or parents.
So.
Power hoarding. Have you heard that one before?
No.
Power hoarding. Yeah, that's white supremacy.
So
PB&J.
So what, parents making their kids go to class is white supremacy?
Being tracked.
Like,
It's very specific, isn't it?
it's not so specific that I just don't understand.
Right. It's so specific that you don't even know what the hell they're talking
It
about.
sounds like just a whole lot of
Which
hogwash.
leads you to believe that they're kind of working backwards.
Yeah, kind of just sounds like they want to justify like their shitty students being shitty.
Yeah, that's a fun one there. We'll go through a couple of these other ones here.
Again, it's like what, like math.
This is math, remember?
It's math. Like math, just do 2 + 2.
White supremacy culture shows up in math classrooms when state standards guide learning in the classroom.
Oh, okay.
While in public schools, our professional responsibility is to teach with standards in mind. It is also our duty as anti-racist educators, right? Remember, you're not just an educator.
You're an anti-racist
You're an
educator.
anti-racist educator.
Yeah.
To unpack how the standards uphold white supremacy culture. A hyper-focus on standards requires teacher to function under a system of urgency. Oh, yeah, remember? I think that was on the Smithsonian thing. Operating under urgency
Yeah.
is
Giving them
white supremacy.
due dates for their assignments.
Yep.
Because making sure your children have goals.
Listen to this. It's white supremacy to operate under a system of urgency to cover all the material that will be on the test.
Huh. So making sure your students are prepared for the test is white
And
supremacy.
not focusing on actual learning.
Yeah.
This perpetuates the myth of coverage. The more we teach our students, the more that a student is going to understand. The blame is on the student for not understanding versus the quality of the teaching.
Well, I can agree that maybe the quality of teaching could be better, but making teachers have to worry about race when they're teaching things like math is not going to make a teacher's job easier. Hey, or better yet, black parents. If you don't like your kids' teachers, pull them out of school and teach them yourself. There you go. Problem solved.
In November, we're going to ask, how am I authentically including Black, Latinx, and multilingual students? If you're wondering what the word Latinx is, or if I misspoke, no, that's what they have here on the paper. It says Latinx, which is their non-gendered version of the word Latino, because they don't want to offend you.
Yeah, they don't want to say Latino, just in case.
Good math. Okay, so white supremacy culture shows up in the math classroom when good math teaching is considered an antidote for mathematical inequity for Black, Latinx, and multilingual students.
What? Oh my God.
It's white supremacist to think that good math teaching is an antidote for people who don't know about math. White supremacy.
Yeah, total white supremacy.
This reinforces the either-or thinking by reinforcing stereotypes about the type of mathematical education that certain groups of students receive.
Okay.
It allows the defensiveness of Western mathematics to prevail without addressing underlying causes of why certain groups of students are underperforming, a characterization that should also be interrogated.
Okay, so let's stop teaching Black and brown people how to do math, and then when they are your checkout clerk at Save Mart or whatever, and they can't give you correct change because they don't know math, then
Well, the computer tells you now, luckily.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they wouldn't
luckily.
even be able to do that.
yeah, that's true. You're
It
right.
also presupposes that good math teaching is about a Eurocentric type of mathematics, devoid of cultural ways of being.
Oh my God.
It kind of begs the question. Is this really about teaching kids math effectively, or is this more about targeting and attacking European white people?
It's about
It sounds like it's more
it's
about
more about
attacking and tearing down white people.
It's about tearing down white people and making white people out to be the devils, when pretty sure it's white people that have helped all of these all of these people do better and get stronger. But that's just me.
This reminds me of how some teachers refuse to fail a student, which, that's kind of an extension of this. They say that they want to abolish grades, they want to abolish achievement, they want to abolish meritocracy in general. They said it straight up.
Why have all these things that make our students feel stupid instead of teaching their kids, hey, if you feel like a dumbass, maybe do your homework and get smarter. They're teaching, no, stop teaching my kids anything.
White supremacy in culture shows up in math classrooms when teachers enculturated in the USA teach mathematics the way they learned it.
Yeah, because it's so incorrect.
I mean, if they're teachers, they probably learned it fairly well.
Yeah, I would say so. There's,
There's some other gems in here. We're going to get to some really good ones down here.
Pretty universal language math, but whatever.
White supremacy culture shows up in math classrooms when math is taught in a linear fashion and skills are taught sequentially without true understanding of prerequisites or knowledge.
What?
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's why when you do math, you start at the beginning and you learn your numbers and you learn your integers and you learn how to add and subtract, multiply, fractions, all that stuff. It's a progressive thing.
White supremacy culture shows up in math classrooms when grading practices are focused on lack of knowledge. Grades are traditionally indicative of what students can't do rather than what they can do, reinforcing perfectionism, which was also white supremacy.
Totally.
In addition, math teachers also focus grades on what is more easily measurable rather than the knowledge that we want students to have, reinforcing quantity over quality. So what they've done is basically they ripped a lot of things directly from that Smithsonian document that lists all the 18,000 different ways that white supremacy manifests itself. So when you saw that document way back then when that first came out, and you thought to yourself, "Oh, this is some BS. This is retarded. I'm never gonna, this is never gonna do anything in real life." Now it's being pumped directly into the children.
Hell yeah.
You thought that was a joke, and now it's being pumped into the children. White supremacy culture shows up in math classrooms when students are required to show their work.
Oh, wow. Rest in peace, my math teacher. I mean, he'd be so upset to see all this.
White supremacy culture shows up in math classrooms when real-world math is valued over math in the real world.
Pretty sure mathematicians in the real world still have to show their work.
Let's see here. Well, yeah, you kind of to prove your equations and your formulas, you have to show it. White supremacy culture shows up when the focus is on getting the right answer. That's right.
Okay.
This is math we're talking about.
Yep.
Remember, these are the people that are going to be creating your spaceships, designing your internets, doing your medical procedures on you. Just keep that in mind. White supremacy culture shows up in math classrooms when you have to address mistakes.
Oh, yeah, when you have to confront the fact that you made a mistake. Oh, that's totally white supremacy.
So that gives you kind of an idea of where this is all headed. This is, again, it begs the question, is it really about making American kids better at math? Or is it about perpetuating the system of, racism?
Racism.
Because that's really what it is. They're creating racists.
Oh, yeah, they are.
The students are going to pump, the teachers are going to pump this into the kids, and the kids are going to become, once they've gotten their hormones, and then they go to the math class, once they've been, blank slated, they're going to be pumped full of this, and they're going to go out, they're not going to be able to get a job because they never learned how to get the right answer.
Yeah.
So
these are the ones that are keeping the racism alive. They say that they want racism to die and go away, but they're the ones that are keeping it alive.
I'm crafting the image of the racism factory right in front of your very eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can see the
it's the
conveyor belt.
schools.
They pump the kids full of hormones and propaganda from grade 3. Then you get into math. Guess what? Math is racist, so you don't want to get the right answer. You don't want to have any sense of urgency. If you devalue the sense of urgency, do you think that harms or helps your ability to become a high-performing, successful person in the future?
No harms.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna they want to this is all harm. They want to keep the lie going. They're children of the lie. They want to keep it going. They want to keep all of the parents angry and all the students angry, so that way they can control them and manipulate them to do whatever they want. So it's a sad cycle. So I've been saying this for a while. I'm going to say it again. If you got kids in school, I think Bill said it in the chat as well, really have to pay attention to what your kids are being fed, because these kids are being pumped. This is what's going to get pumped into our schools now. And if you are paying attention and you see this stuff, then you have to do something about it. Not necessarily like pull your kid out, but just be the voice of reason on the other side for your kid. Because if you're going to sit there and be like, yeah, what your teacher says is correct, and that's going to cause problems too.
Also, this guy's a great point right here. He says, I think a big part of it is the teachers are incompetent and they don't want to take responsibility for their inability to teach the dumbest kids.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a great point.
It's not, and it also, I think a lot of the responsibility is on the teachers, but I think we're not placing enough of the responsibility on the parents as well. And I think that's where we need to do a big shift, because
that's where it should be. But
that's
remember,
where it should be,
remember these teachers, teachers.
Yeah, they're not doing
these are just the most recent end products of the conveyor belt itself, who are now replicating themselves.
Oh, they are, yeah.
In a manner similar to like a sci-fi nanobot that just disassembles matter and turns it into a copy of itself. That's all these teachers are.
Yeah.
They're fresh out of college. They got all this baloney programmed into them, and now they're pumping it out into the kids. They don't know how to actually teach math.
Yeah.
They don't know. They probably couldn't teach math if they wanted to, and a way for them to skirt the responsibility and to
just blame it on racism.
I remember when I was in high school, there was a lot of discussion around, teachers are the ones responsible for whether or not the kids can meet the standardized testing scores or not. This is a way where the teachers can skirt those responsibilities by saying that, well, we shouldn't do standardized testing. We shouldn't have to hold our students to standards. It's a way for them to not have to be evaluated and judged based on their own performance.
Yeah. Well, I think we do need standardized testing. It's so that way we can kind of weed out who the bad teachers are and who the good teachers are by the test scores.
Well, that's another good point, is that with any other job, most jobs anyway, any real job, you have performance. And you have to have your performance evaluated.
Yes.
And if you're not performing, guess what?
Out.
You get removed.
You get out or you get demoted.
There isn't anything like that for teachers. You're just some idiot pumping out this propaganda, regurgitating this stuff to these kids. You don't get judged when they all fail the standardized math tests. You don't get judged when
You should.
when they score 18,000 ranks below the Chinese kids.
You should, but unfortunately
but you
they're
should.
not.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, they're not.
Guess who's protecting them though?
The politicians.
Teachers unions.
Yeah, the politicians and the teachers unions.
Teachers unions are protecting them and enabling the terrible performance.
I agree. It's why we need to get rid of them. And it's always hilarious that I've seen that schools that are non-unionized, their teachers are happier, the students are happier, and the students perform way better than unionized schools. So what does that tell you right there? Like, that tells me something.
Yeah, is TikTok a real job? TikToker?
For some people, yes. A lot of people.
Yeah, for
I mean, if people can make tons of
less than 1%.
people can make like hundreds of thousands of dollars off of OnlyFans, then yes, TikTok is
So-
a job.
Here's a question. What if you're in school and you're seeing this all happen
Okay.
and you're not propagandized, you're not programmed, you're not part of the whole sludge pit, cesspool,
Yep.
and you want to form a group that goes against that?
Oh no.
What do you think happens to them?
They get shut down. They're gonna get
Yeah,
steamrolled.
no, from cbc.ca. That
Oh
means it's from
no.
Canada. Oh yeah.
Oh
Edmonton.
no.
White Student Alliance prompts investigation at Edmonton High School.
Oh goodness.
So you can form a group around blacks, Native Americans,
Oh, yeah.
Indigenous, whatever you
can
want to
have
call it,
entire
Asians,
spaces dedicated to those people only.
quadriplegic, African, retarded, one-eyed people. You can have a group for that.
With the
Totally
hairy
cool.
stump.
Even with that, totally fine. But you want to create a White Student Alliance? What do they say about that?
No.
Quote,
No.
quote,
No.
it's blatantly racist. It's rooted in fear. It's rooted in hate.
How is it?
Yep. So everything else perfectly fine. Let's just pump money into it. Let them encourage them.
let's
White
kick-
people, blatantly racist.
Kick white people out of the black spaces, but white people want to make their own space.
Rooted in fear.
Rooted in fear.
Rooted in hate. From today, steaming hot off the press
That's awesome.
from Edmonton. Administrators at South Edmonton High School are consulting with Edmonton Police Service Hate Crimes Unit
Wow.
as they investigate an online group that encourages local students to fight black supremacy.
Bunch of Nazis.
So black supremacy is totally fine.
Yeah, totally.
And if you're against
Because there's only
supremacy,
4 of them.
which is what this is, they're against supremacy, which you should be. Everyone should be against supremacy, right?
Of course, yeah.
I don't
I'm
think
against
I don't-
supremacy of all forms.
I don't think there's any logical reasons to be for supremacy. The Scona White Student Alliance calls on students at Strathcona High School to rise up and fight racism against white people.
I mean, I'm down.
Accounts
I'm down for fighting racism for everybody.
Yeah, no, no supremacy across
No
the board.
supremacy across the board. White, brown, Asian, I don't care.
Accounts for the group were established on various social media platforms this week, prompting concern from students, parents, and school officials.
Of course.
Of course, yeah, because the teachers and
Because it's a bunch of Nazis.
Oh, Holly, this is from her own province. Apparently, she said this was huge.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
Man, time to be a time to be from this place.
Homeschooling seems like the only option. Yes, it is definitely the only option. You could do some online stuff too. I mean, you don't have to homeschool them yourself. I'm sure there's online programs where you can just let them learn from online, but
Yeah.
it's not, they don't have the retardation built in.
Or just have your village raise them. That's always a good idea too.
Yep.
I mean,
Maybe you should join a small community that has a teacher that's.
that's not a freaking purple-haired lefty.
There you go. There you go.
Purple-haired bull ring lefty.
Trisha Asterbrooks, the chair of Edmonton Public High School Board, described the posts as disappointing and disgusting.
Oh.
So, black people, retards, quadriplegics, they form groups. Love it. Happy. Black supremacists, happy.
Spaghetti people, happy.
Yep. LGBTs, happy.
Trannies, yeah.
LGBTs talking trash about cis people all day.
Oh, yeah.
Happy. Let them do it.
Yeah,
White people,
queen.
white people, disappointing and disgusting.
Yeah, super disgusting.
It's blatantly racist, Esther Brooks said during a news conference Tuesday. It's rooted in fear, hate. All those things are concerning. In a statement to CBC News, an Edmonton police spokesperson said the hate crime and violent extremism unit. Oh my god!
They have a whole unit dedicated to this. Huh?
What are we? What is the? Is this Equilibrium? You guys remember the movie Equilibrium, where?
Is that Denzel Washington?
No, it's Batman. He runs around and not Batman, but Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
He runs around and he kills anybody that has an emotion.
Oh.
Or
I
like,
haven't seen that
or
one.
like consumes
I've heard
art.
of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, this is what that
Wow.
is. He's from the Hate and Crime and Violent Extremism Unit,
Wow.
working closely with the school administration. So good job, Canada.
Yeah,
Sounds
good
like
job.
you got it well handled there.
I mean, for the most part.
An investigating officer is consulting with the school and will continue to, quote, support them as needed. Esther Brooks said school officials do not know who's responsible for the accounts, but that does not diminish the harmful content of the messages.
Well, what did they say that was so harmful?
Yeah, what is the messages?
Yeah, what are the messages?
Maybe they'll have some down here. It's clear that further anti-racism education is needed, not just in our schools, but in our society as a whole. See, so they look for this kind of stuff, for ways that they can justify amplifying what they're already doing.
Great.
All students are in division deserve and have a right to feel safe and welcome and included in our school communities.
Well, of course.
Does that also include white people?
Yeah, does that
because
include white people?
I think these white people are kind of saying they don't feel welcome.
I mean, they're trying to at least.
What is the appropriate manner for a white person to say they don't feel welcome? If they're not, if supporting a white student alliance is not the way, what is the appropriate way for them to say collectively that they don't feel welcome?
I know. Well, they probably have tried, but then they get shot down because they're white, and we need to silence white voices.
You recognize your privilege.
Yeah, you need to recognize your privilege, and we need to silence your voice because your voice doesn't matter.
School promises zero tolerance.
Oh, okay.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, I can understand zero tolerance for physical violence or sexual.
No, but
violence.
this is a Twitter account.
But for a Twitter account,
Yeah, there's zero tolerance for hate-filled accounts and posts like this. Posts like what? They still haven't provided us. So for those who are just listening, we're going through the article right now, and they have not listed any examples of any content yet. It's not like we skipped over it. There just hasn't been any.
and they don't want to repeat it because it's so bad.
Yeah, right. Quote, our Black, Indigenous, and people of color students have the right to feel safe and welcome in their school and community. Okay, again, what about the white people?
What about the white people?
A Twitter account for the Scona White Student Alliance has been suspended, but as of Tuesday morning, an Instagram account for the group remained active. Maybe somebody could look that up. Scona White Student Alliance on Instagram. The page is a series of troubling posts about racism and discrimination. Good. Well, maybe they'll list one here for us so we can evaluate it with an independent mind.
Yeah.
A post published Sunday reads in part, White Lives Matter.
Oh.
We have been forced to sit in our classes and listen to some clowns ranting how terrible and racist are all whites. That's what they're afraid of? That's the hateful?
I mean,
Okay,
that's a pretty valid concern on if this is what the person posted.
Yeah, I didn't see anything in there about how they want to dominate
Yeah.
minorities.
They're not
They want to
saying, like,
exterminate minorities.
Yeah.
They want to make gas chambers. They said White Lives Matter. And then they said, we have been forced to sit in our classes and listen to some clowns ranting how terrible and racist are all whites.
That's a pretty valid concern.
That sounds like them saying they don't feel welcome.
Yeah. And
That sounds like exactly what you would say.
And that sounds like I think that's a pretty valid concern. Like if that's how I feel when I'm sitting in a room, because I'm kind of brown, but my mom is white, and I have mostly white family. When I sit in a room full of people of color, and all I hear them do is rag on white people and
Oh, yeah.
talk shit on white people. It makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better. Look at this next one. A second post.
Oh,
Remember,
no.
this is hateful.
So hateful. Okay.
Hateful and disgusting content. A second post published Sunday alludes to Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, in which he spoke about being judged by the content of one's character and not one's skin.
I mean, he did say that.
A Martin Luther King quote is disgusting and hateful.
Yeah, Martin Luther King quote is terrible and disgusting.
And that's not even a pro-white statement. They're literally just saying that they want to be judged based on character and not the color of their skin.
And that's something that Martin Luther King said. He said that several times, and we should look to that.
The post, listen to this. Listen to how the CBC.Canada justifies this. The post suggests students are deemed racist simply by being white.
Well, yeah, they kind of are.
Society is being dominated by victimhood and anti-white racism. We are slowly regressing back to the starting point where others are treated differently based on the color of their skin, the post reads.
We are.
These kids sound really smart, actually.
These kids are kind of like...
They're quoting Martin Luther King, which, well, like I said, we already predicted that he would be called racist. So I think, are we at that point now where that's... Where Martin Luther King is racist for saying that you should judge someone based on the character, not their color?
I mean, not a lot of people know that Martin Luther King was actually a Republican, so yes, he's racist.
Society is being dominated by victimhood and anti-white racism. We are slowly regressing back to the starting point where others are treated differently based on the color of their skin. That's the hateful, disgusting post
they
were so
they're just
upset
being
about.
Honest and fair in their assessment of how they're feeling. It's not like they feel this way, and instead of they're calmly and collectively trying to say how they're feeling without coming across or sounding like they have hate in their heart. They're just, this is our observation, and they're the ones that are putting hate into their words when it's not.
So for if somebody's listening and they're thinking to themselves, well, that is hateful, that is disgusting, that is racist, let me provide an example or two of something that would actually be considered racist or hateful. Because saying that character matters over color is not actually racist, but if they were saying something like all black people need to die, or black people are inferior,
or white people are the best, white power,
or black people need to get out of this school, or indigenous people don't belong here,
keep Canada white,
that is disgusting.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
That's
and racist.
where the bar for disgusting is. The bar for disgusting and racist is not at judge someone by their character and not by the color of their skin.
That's the opposite of racist.
So the bars are vastly different here. So the inability to delineate that bar and to understand that there are far worse things. If you call that disgusting, then you're saying that wishing black people would be dead. What is the word you use to describe that? If that's not disgusting, you're saying that you can't make anything more heinous than disgusting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The bar is much lower.
Yeah. Well, again, I think the only reason they classify them as like racist is because they are a white group that is, especially with the MLK thing, they're trying to, when they posted about MLK, they're a white group posting about a black person. How much more racist can you get? It's like, no, this group isn't about white power and like keeping whites up. It's just a platform for the white students to align and talk about their issues.
Again, we have to ask a question. Is this about actually being anti-racist, or is this about attacking and destroying white people? Because
it's about destroying white people.
How much clearer can you be when you can come out and say that white people are being demonized, which is what these kids said? That is somebody saying they don't feel welcome.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, right over here, you're saying we want everyone to feel welcome.
We want everyone to feel welcome as long as you don't...
as long as you're not white.
As long as you're not white, or you don't try to elevate white problems over black problems.
And then, of course, they use this non-issue to perpetuate and amplify their message and their ideology even further by saying, and as they end the article, it just highlights how critical we need to, as a school division and society, reflect on what it truly means to be anti-racist.
Well, I don't even know what it means to be anti-racist.
That's how they end it. Oh, my God.
These people are delusional.
That's, yeah.
And these are the people teaching our kids, so... Have fun, breeders!
Public school had no answer for my daughter's dyslexia. They didn't for me either, so I knew that my daughter had to learn by wrote as I did. Hard work, but it was determined for her sake. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they definitely, if your kid has any kind of special needs, especially, definitely don't send them to public school.
Teach them yourself.
Need special attention.
You'll be a better teacher than the so-called teachers that are getting paid money out of the state's pocket.
If you complain, you are fill in the blank. Yeah. Ism, ist, phobias, etc. Throw in.
Just throw them.
Insert buzzword here.
Just throw them all. Just give them a nice big old bomb of ism and ist words.
Holly says the media is blaming the UCP that runs Alberta for inspiration. Can we just point out how absurd it is that they have a division of their police that was called, what was it?
The division of
hate crimes and extremism division or something like that.
It was the
hate crimes and violent extremism unit. Jesus Christ, Canada's so screwed.
Canada's got so much hate crime and and violent extremism that they need a whole unit.
No, really, the hate crime and extremism unit is dedicated simply to just stomping down any white people who point up any,
any kind of free-thinking white person,
right,
who won't elevate black voices.
So I have a question now for you guys in chat. It's kind of a thought-provoking question that I was asking myself the other day. It just kind of came to me. And that is this. Now, you've gotten this picture. We've painted the picture of these schools. We've painted the picture of what the future is going to be like. We've painted the picture of what other countries are doing and going in a more objectively more productive way where, countries like China, they say, we recognize that things are getting a little too feminine. So we want to make it a little more masculine, balance it out. If you are, now I don't know what in generally day to day, what your mindset of most people are, but I have a pretty big imaginative mind. I think big picture, long term, things like that. So I tend to think more of kind of like the end game, the big picture type thing. If you are on team humanity, if your best, greatest interest is the furthering, the flourishing of long-term, successful human existence, which is really what you're doing when you're participating in breeding and getting married. That's all you're doing. On a micro scale is you're perpetuating the human species.
Yeah, you're keeping us going.
If that is what you live to do and that's what you are interested in doing, can you really say truthfully that you're on Team America or Team Western society anymore? Because I thought about that. There's a conflict between the nationalism, I root for America, love America, I was born and raised here, I love everything about it, all the freedoms that afforded me to do what I want to do. But if you still want to get humanity to like a multi-planetary species or multi-galactic species, end game, I'm talking end game here, right? Can you really still be on Team America?
I don't think so. You're going to have to eventually shed that.
I'm just posing the question because, it's thought-provoking.
I mean, personally, I would just because I love America. And I already know, I'm not going to ever go to space. But
it's not about you going to space.
It's about my kids and my kids' kids. And
it's about humanity surviving the asteroid. Humanity surviving the pandemic. Because of this pandemic, for example, and I bring this up in the context of a global pandemic.
Yeah.
If the coronavirus was bad enough, it could wipe out humanity or send us back to the Stone Age, basically. We just got lucky that wasn't the severity that it was. So if we're in a constant race against time, which is what people don't really understand. We're in a constant race against time against things like coronavirus, the sun exploding, solar flares, earthquakes, volcanoes,
tsunamis,
you name it.
Yeah.
Anything. And if we fall behind and we start to emphasize equity and racism and shit like that in our schools for our children, for our future, over productivity, advancement, achievement, learning new things, actual science, not the religion of scientific, ideology.
Yeah.
Can you still be on Team America? Team Alien, yes.
I mean, I'm
Team Human.
I'm on Team Human too. I agree with Chad. I'm Team People, Team Human, but my patriotic side, I'm like, yeah, but America, we're gonna create the best humans.
Team Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, we'll see. No, that's what Tyler says. He says it's about humanity being able to evolve, overcome, and adapt. So now we're in a stage where we have been presented with new conditions. Think about it from a biological perspective, right? You're a group of orangutans living in the forest. All of a sudden, the weather changes. Like the weather patterns change. You can't get the same fruits that you could from the trees. So you're looking around your orangutan buddies, and you're like, no fruit.
Gonna sit there and wait for more fruit
Yeah,
to grow, or are you gonna go find another forest?
Are you gonna sit around, or are you gonna go look for new food? So I'm trying to,
get those juices flowing about the loyalism that a lot of people have about.
No, that's really what it is, and I'm on that team too because I'm Team America the whole way.
I'm Team America too, and it's like,
but
I don't want to give up.
Is Team America more important than Team Humanity?
No.
Like, if Team America, does that come before my new need and want to create a family and procreate?
No.
Does it come across like me trying to create a good future for my children? Does it supersede that?
No, absolutely
or
not.
does the Team Humanity
should win
Team
always.
America? That's kind of where I'm going with this.
Team Humanity should win over Team America. Especially with the way that America is going right now. If you asked this question like 50 years ago, or even like during World War II, everybody
they would have.
Everybody would have told you, no, always America.
No, they would have beat me
Who
up in the
gives
street.
a shit about space?
They would have called me a commie and beat me up in the street.
Exactly, but now it's like, oh god, okay.
Well, we're witnessing the conditions changing rapidly around us, and I would have
having to adapt.
I'd have to really question the intent of anybody who really thinks that they can remain in modern American society long term and not separate yourself to some degree, like living in a rural town, a shack, a cabin,
mobile home,
a village in the woods, anything aside from living in this society.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that it's running right now, you'd be an idiot.
I want to go to Mars. I don't know about you guys, but I don't care about this racism shit. I don't care about equity, equality. I want advancement.
You want to go to space?
Yes, I want Blade Runner. It's about I was hoping C-19 would have brought us together as 9/11 did. Well, see, they had. It's a great point, Holly, because C-19 did bring us together initially, because we were all fighting over toilet paper and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But in a more serious note, it actually was bringing us together for some time, and then it got politicized.
Oh yeah.
The media got a hold of it.
Media's like, ooh, we have all this money invested in the mask making companies. We want to get people to wear this crap now.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe that was it. But they got a hold of it, and they started, going with pro-lockdowns, anti-lockdowns, pro-mask, anti-mask, pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine, pro-China, anti-China, stuff like that. China flu, China virus.
China.
So, yeah, it was working for a while, but then they saw that, and they stepped in, and they destroyed that immediately.
Of course.
So
they destroy everything that they touch.
So, yeah, you shouldn't have any hope for any kind of unifying event happening outside of maybe an actual war of consequence.
Right.
Like if bombs start dropping on America, that would unify.
Or if people start taking to the streets against their own people.
But short of that, there's going to be no unification. It's only going to get worse. We've already seen it. 9/11 playbook has opened up. It's going to be, we're not fighting foreign wars anymore. We're fighting domestic wars against our own people.
Hopefully Amazon doesn't send information to Nancy Pelosi that I bought my MAGA hat a couple of years ago.
Nope, you're already in a database.
I'm already in a database.
Yeah, you're screwed. So
bought my Trump, my pro-Trump merch from that lesbian Trump supporter. Dang it.
That's what Team China is for. There you go, Tyler. That's kind of what I was alluding to. So if that's the next part of the question, if you were to look at any other team currently on the planet, Team America, you want to go to Team Canada where they have a transgender unit, like Holly said, and they have like a hate crimes division, and that if you're white in public and you can raise a concern about being excluded, you're gonna have a hate crime unit sicked on you.
Yeah.
Is that the team you want to play for?
No.
Do you want to play for Team Mexico where everyone's chopping each other up and with machetes and hanging them from overpasses because they have no government oversight of all the gang violence happening down there? Do you want to go to England where they're breaking into your house because you posted a mean tweet?
No.
Do you want to go to Sweden where they're importing mass refugees?
No, I'm good.
Do you want to go to China where they're breeding super soldiers and teaching their kids to be masculine? And they're building new cities every single day, and they have 0 coronavirus cases.
Yeah, that's sounding sweeter and sweeter.
The most advanced
the more
country
you talk
on the
about
planet.
it.
Yeah, no.
Think about it.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Is it's thought provoking because yes, there's plenty of.
Can we get China Light? Is there like a China Light version, like an Asian country where there's a little bit of that, but it's not like so bad, like not so authoritative?
Maybe.
Maybe like Japan.
Maybe, yeah, maybe Japan would be a good option.
Team.
But
I joined Team Japan.
but you guys see what I'm saying here. If you're on Team Humanity, which I think we all are, we can
Yeah,
all agree that we're on
most
Team
people should
Humanity.
be.
Then who are you rooting for at this point? Are you rooting for America? No.
No.
America's done for, and we've given plenty of reasons, plenty of
We've had
stories. Our
s-
education system is screwed.
We've had so many opportunities.
Our
to make
economy
things
is
better.
screwed. Our government is screwed. Every aspect of society in America, from top to
We
bottom, is
screwed
completely
ourselves.
on fire, with no indications of turning around.
Hot dumpster fire that everybody just keeps throwing shit into.
And the closest we got is sending a guy with a bull hat into the Capitol.
Yep.
That's the best that we could do to turn things around.
QAnon shaman.
Trust a plan, Patriots. Storm the Capitol. Come on, let's go. So guys like Ken and the people who are raging at me from debunking Mike Lindell, they're gonna group up and go to the Capitol again someday.
Yes.
That's the best that you got. You banking on those guys? I'm not banking on those guys. So
Those guys couldn't defend themselves even if they put their minds to it. No way.
I'm just saying.
I mean, the guy that got the QAnon shaman, he's apparently not doing too good in jail because he can't get organic food.
Oh, Jeremy, you're a
So-
globalist.
Yeah, so you don't want to follow that guy.
Jeremy, you're a globalist. You want a global community? And
No, he doesn't.
no.
He doesn't want
No, I love competition between the countries, but you have to objectively look at.
Which one is doing better?
I'm not drawing any conclusions as to who or what I support. I'm just bringing up the point. If you're on Team Humanity, can you really be pro-America anymore? Yes, we love the ideas of America. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we can do like a pilgrim type thing where we evacuate and bring the ideas of America somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because America is not a physical location.
No, it's an
America
idea.
is an ideology, right? So
It's a
that's not going to
mindset.
die. That's not going to go anywhere.
No,
it's still in here
absolutely
and in here.
Yeah.
But America as a place,
No,
look
it's-
outside the window.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Look in the intro to my video. That's real, where you see the people in the tents on the side of the road.
So real.
I literally, before the stream started, a half an hour before the stream started, I watched a standoff between two vagrants outside my window. One homeless lady had a knife, and the other guy had a bolt cutters, and they were standing off in the middle of the road, and they were trying to attack each other. And a cop car just drove right by.
Oh yeah.
He didn't even care. Cops don't do anything. They don't care. Okay, there's no law enforcement in America. We're teaching our kids this crap. What do you think is going to happen in 20 years?
Yeah. I mean, I was waiting outside of a chicken shack trying to get a chicken sando and freaking almost saw a guy get stabbed by a bum. It was awful.
Yep.
Just trying to get some damn food and this dude tried to pick a fight with a bum. It was
Almost one. I'm still trying to buy 5,700 acres surrounded by mountains and national forests. See,
Hell yeah.
that'd be a good idea. I'm looking at that myself. No evolution anymore. We're devolving. Any idiot can get laid and breed. Thus, no preferential characteristics will go to the future except by genetic engineering.
yeah.
That's a good.
Bunch of ugly people screwing ugly people and creating more ugly people that are having ugly people. So it's just a cycle of just gross.
Tyler says maybe we should make a huge wave of. Do we want China to colonize Mars, and maybe Team America will set aside the feelings of racism and hate and focus more on the importance of education? Well, I don't even think if China colonized Mars,
Yeah.
that would change anybody's mind.
Pretty sure that if China was the first to colonize Mars, a lot of the white liberals in America would go, yes, go China, good for you, good job, colonizing, good for you.
I don't know what they would say about China.
They would love it because in their minds, China deserves it more than we do. They don't want America to be.
Majority of population
anymore.
is devolving. Yes, exactly. So that's another point that factors into this whole thing. IQ is lowering.
Oh yeah, totally.
We're not increasing in intelligence anymore. We're on the downside of the slope now.
Yeah, I'm contributing to that a little bit.
Well, I mean, maybe you can surrogate some good DNA or something. Who
Yeah,
knows?
maybe.
No one has experienced hate until they realize how much everyone else hates the U.S. Yeah, well, that's another factor in the whole issue. Nobody in America has any perspective of what the real world is actually like.
Yep.
No global perspective, no real world perspective at all. They don't know that people are getting their heads chopped off in Mexico right across the border. They have no idea.
They don't know that gays get thrown off of rooftops in Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan and all these Middle Eastern countries. They don't know that there is actual like real racism and actual real slavery going on in some of these African countries still. They have no clue. And you try to talk to
Nope.
them about it and they just shut down and go, "No, it's not real. It's not happening. La 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 la." They just think everything's rainbows and unicorns. Like, and glitter. Can't forget the glitter.
It's true. We can always unite for about 5 minutes, and then it all goes to karate. Yeah, to Korea. New name in chat. Good. Yeah, good point. Actually, we can unite for about 5 minutes, and then it all goes to karate. It's well, you can never. We don't want to fall into the fallacy of perfection that the left operates under. We're not saying that a system is ever going to be perfect.
No.
This is actually could be the end cycle of a very productive session. America has been productive overall.
Yeah,
incredibly productive.
We've been a powerhouse for
overall
decades.
America's been awesome, incredible,
We're a powerhouse.
the best ever.
We've been a powerhouse for innovation, for technology, medical, everything.
Economy,
Economy.
you name it.
We've military, everything.
But we're on the sunset now.
I think. Do you think that like maybe we like plateaued for a bit there, and that's why we're on the downward slope, because we did reach a really high peak.
Well, that's what happens when you hit the top. Is things get so good that somebody mentioned in the chat, you lose the selection forces. There's no more natural selection.
Exactly.
You get stuff so good that you don't have to adapt anymore,
Yeah.
and you get soft, and then you cry that you.
And then when you get
about
soft,
To
it
Kill a
just goes,
Mockingbird.
Yeah, you cry over To Kill a Mockingbird.
That's the canary in the coal mine, pun intended. To Kill a Mockingbird. If you're banning that, it's time to abandon society.
It's time to just get rid of everything. If your emotional fragility cannot handle To Kill a Mockingbird, then you just don't even deserve to live.
There are some people who are listening to this and they don't understand the gravity of what's happening.
Oh, I know, because they probably.
This isn't going to change tomorrow. It's not going to change with you taking down big tech. It's not going to change with you attacking the universities. It's not going to change with you abolishing CNN and MSNBC and voting out every single Democratic politician, getting a Republican president.
Yeah.
None of that will
You could
change this
You could
trajectory.
do everything in your heart's desire that you think is going to fix everything, and nothing will get fixed.
We're looking at least another 20 years of this.
Oh, yeah.
Because the children, we've covered it 10 trillion times, the children
children
across America are being indoctrinated into, all the teachers are teaching this, and the curriculum is not trending upward in a more productive manner. It's getting worse.
Yeah, it's getting so much
Every
worse.
year it's getting worse. So
Graduation rates for schools at an all-time, it's like low. Kids are not learning math, they're not learning anything.
if you can stop the freight train will stop. I'm not saying it's going to, perpetuate into a black hole where the social justice gets so heavy that it just forms a singularity and sucks the entire planet into itself.
That would be kind of nice.
That would be kind of cool. Actually. Hopefully we're on Mars by then. That's why we need to get to Mars.
Right?
But the freight train will stop, but by the time that it stops, you're not going to want to be here anymore.
Oh, no, yeah.
You think the cities are going to get any better?
You want it off that log a long time ago.
The cities have been getting progressively worse for decades, like 50 years. Name one city that's improved in cleanliness and efficiency and economy over the last 50 years. It hasn't gotten worse. And I'm talking major population center. Name one.
I can't name.
Maybe there's like one somewhere hidden in the United States we don't know about, like in Utah.
I was going to say like Cody, Wyoming, maybe.
Maybe something like that. But
'Cause I know-
that's not even big enough. That doesn't even meet
I was
the
going to say,
requirements.
I know Cody had a big boom.
You get my point,
because-
though, right?
I get your point. I know Cody had a big boom because a lot of big businesses. I know Kanye West has a shoe factory out there, and I know he contributed a lot of business out there. So, but again, that's still population size in comparison.
Procrastinators unite tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
I'm not procrastinating. I'm taking active measures, friend.
Yeah, he is.
Active measures. We let commies take over the education system. Too many Frankfurt School teachers. Yeah, so we've all identified the problems. We know that the education system's taken over. And we talked about how people want to say they want to fight back.
Yeah.
Fight back, Patriots! Come on, storm the Capitol.
No, don't fight.
Fight back against the media. Fight back against big tech. Fight back against
Too
education.
many enemies on every front.
Fight back against the government. There's which one are you going to start with?
Yeah, there's too many enemies on every front. Best thing you can do is just back the fuck off.
Ask Hitler how his starting a war on 2 fronts went for him, and then tell me when you want to start one with 5 fronts.
Yeah, 5 fronts and and then not to mention your own personal familial front, because the people in your immediate life have the most say and the most influence over your life. So you have that as well. So 6. That's another layer to add to it.
Holly says the cyber war has already begun. Cyber war, yes, cyber war is happening right now. You don't even know it. Most people don't even know it. You know it because you're smart and you watch the weekly narrative.
Yeah, you're here.
Data services shutting down, apps taking data, injecting schools with ideological dogma, creating sterile, mindless consumers, no production. It's the end game right now. You know what I forgot to mention in that article? As a suggestion to one of the things they said was white supremacy, they said, like, teaching, as a teacher, you always teaching the kids is white supremacy. What you should do instead is evaluate alternative ways of having the children teach you or teach each other. And one of the suggestions they gave, have the kids create TikToks.
Oh, okay.
I'm not even shitting you.
Wow.
TikTok being the Chinese social media app.
We're just gonna raise all the black kids to just make money, make their living off of shaking their ass on TikTok. That sounds like a great idea. Sounds like a great way to
Just raising a bunch of retards.
Yeah, it sounds like a great way to raise the black community up by raising them to just raise their daughters and sons to just be TikTok superstars.
If you can't laugh at that, you're
too far gone. If you can't laugh at that. Even though I am kind of being serious.
America was an incredibly successful experiment.
It
yes,
was.
it was.
It was one of the most successful.
I will always be on Team America, but we have to understand that nothing lasts forever.
Yep.
And we cannot fall victim to the perfection fallacy like the left does.
I wish it would last forever.
By saying that, that's some people believe, like when I've suggested this very idea to certain people, and they say, well, no, we got to fight.
Okay, well, have fun getting killed.
We got to fight. So,
have fun getting shot or getting killed financially or digitally, whatever front you decide to fight on. So Jeremy, whenever somebody says to you that they're going to fight, your question should be, okay, well, which front are you going to fight on? Because there's 5 of them.
Exactly.
So pick which one.
That's a good response. Yeah.
Which one are you going to go on? You're going to go the digital front, the actual like political front, the
mass media,
education.
Where are you going to start?
The homes. You're going to go to every single.
Let's say best case scenario. Let's say they successfully take over all the educational institutions in America and replace 80% of the liberals and left-leaning professors with conservatives.
Okay.
Which is what the ideal would be, right? You just want to switch
roles. You want to have like a nice balance.
Because you don't want 50-50 because then you're just neutral.
Yeah.
That's not going to fix the problem.
Yeah.
You're still going to be drifting in one direction. You have to create, momentum in the other direction. 80% Republicans in every conservative. If you got that, even if you got that, which would take how many years?
That would take decades.
Even if you did that, the effects wouldn't kick in for at least another 2 years because you need those kids to get out into the real world and become the teachers who then are teaching the next generation.
Yeah.
So you're looking at what conservatively, generously, if you successfully complete that one war on that one front against educational institutions, 60, 70 years?
Yeah, it would take at least a few generations to see the effects.
80 to 100 years?
Yeah. No.
Conservatively speaking.
Yeah, conservatively speaking. Yeah.
So get to work.
Yeah, get to work, and that's just one of the fronts. This is something that has to be a mass coordinated effort. So make sure you get your generals.
Fight back, Patriots!
Yeah, get your generals going. Get your generals going for every.
You better
front.
also concurrently work on your life and longevity science because you got to live for a very long time to actually complete that. America is just a place. Think of Europe and how many names the controlling countries. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, America is an idea.
It's an idea.
It's an idea. Jeremy, you got to get your ass down to Mumbai and then complain about Sacramento. Dude, okay, so we are going to talk about, this is all doom and gloom, but there are some, when I say the Team America thing is just to prime your brain for accepting some really wild stuff that's happening out there that nobody knows about. People don't know that places in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, they're creating super advanced cities that are like built to not have to use cars.
Yes.
That are highly advanced. You could call it a utopia. There's we talked about the cities being created in Nevada by corporations. There's new stuff happening.
Yep.
And you can't just present that idea to somebody. You can't say, hey, what do you think about corporation owning the government? You can't say, hey, what do you think about Saudi Arabia starting a city that spans the length of the entire continent as just one big strip, which is what it is.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, that's ridiculous. What are you talking about? You have to prime them by telling them how absurd our current society and our current setup is so that they're open to accepting new ideas like that.
Hell yeah.
And I'm not saying they're going to be great or better. I'm just saying they're different. There's something new.
Something different than the pile of crap that we've been given so far.
And we're going to talk about some of those on the next stream. So
on the next one,
Saturday night's stream. Rugged individualism is the only way back. Get back to basics and create small communities. Remember the scaling problem. Exactly.
Agreed.
Yeah, the scaling problem is probably, as we work through this and we're observing this problem happening in real time, we're not working in a lab environment where we get to mess with variables and play around. We just have to learn as we go, as we're living it. And as part of that process, I think we've identified that scale, humanity, to live on the scale that we do, to live in a city of, a million people or whatever it is, it's not viable. It doesn't work.
Yeah. It's not conducive to healthy and productive means.
If there was one variable to change, or at least one to focus on or emphasize, I think scale would be the one. So again, decentralize, parallel societies, et cetera, all that stuff that I talk about all the time.
Don't you dare ever bring up rugged individualism ever again, Bill, because that's racist. That's a colonizer mindset.
One more mention and you're gonna get banned.
Yeah, one more of that.
Okay, we need to get the likes up. Get the likes up, folks.
Come on, y'all.
Engagement.
We got 20 million and we only got 10 likes. Come on now.
Laziness is a part of that variable as well, too. Yeah. America's sunsetting coincides with Biden. Well, I mean, there is some discussion. There's been some news stories peeking out about how Kamala has been taking calls in his place with foreign people.
Well, yeah, he probably doesn't want to miss his afternoon nap.
He puts a lid on the day at 9 o'clock. He has his coffee and then puts a lid on the day. So
he also puts logs on his own logs on his own fire, and that's very tiring.
He gets up, he has coffee, he puts the hat on that his daughter gave him, he plays Luigi and Mario Kart,
and beats his granddaughter,
and then he puts a log on the fire, and then he puts a lid on the day,
and then goes and then calls it a day, and wakes up at 3 a.m. the next day, starts it all over again.
That's American exceptionalism in a nutshell for you right there, folks. I mean, that is a leader that you can get behind. You know he will have your back
because he's a decent man.
He will lead us fearlessly into the future. Apart from the latest wall, what has been the most modern achievement or advancement in American civil structures? Nationally, for example, we built the Hoover Dam. It's a great example of how we have lost our momentum. We used to be going to the moon. We used to be building giant engineering feats like the Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if you can consider the wall. The wall is just like you lift up a piece and you put it in. It's not what I would consider a marvel of engineering or anything.
It's not an engineering marvel. It's just something that we definitely kind of needed for a while there.
But the context is he's talking about when have we been excellent?
Yeah, when was the last time we had an engineering marvel?
We don't engineer impressive things anymore. We don't create new stuff.
Unless you count that giant disco ball in the middle of the Nevada desert at engineering marvel. In case y'all don't know what I call it the giant disco ball because that's essentially what it is. What it is, in the middle of the desert in Nevada, there is a giant solar panel farm. And in the center of it is a tower where all of the energy that the solar panels collects goes into this tower. So
like a molten salt, I think, is what they use for those.
I don't know the whole.
I think they're molten salt.
I don't know what the whole thing is, but anyways, I call it a giant disco ball because when you're driving by it and the light hits it just right, that light can refract and be basically essentially a disco ball.
Those things vaporize birds by the thousands.
I told you about the bird vaporization.
Save the environment, vaporize the birds.
People say that they will be walking in the middle of the desert and then all of a sudden they'll just see a ball of flame in the air, and then they go and run over to the ball of flame where it landed and it's a dead bird. And what it is the light will refract, and then the bird will fly right through that light refraction, and then it's so hot that the bird just catches fire and dies.
No, it vaporizes
Just
completely.
Vaporizes them completely.
Daria has a suggestion. He says, watch the documentary The New Silk Road. You can see China's projections for the future. See, now the interesting thing about China is they have planned their future.
Oh, yeah.
They call it the 100-year plan. Because they have goals and objectives, whereas we are sitting around here like, that's racist.
That's racist. I don't feel like a woman. I don't feel like a man.
Yeah. Oh, are you Max? What name do you want me to call you?
What pronouns would you like me to call you by?
That's what we're focused on.
We're worried about, and also misogyny and gender equality and yada yada yada, and killing babies.
What do they say? What do they say about pride preceding the fall or something like that? What's that quote? because that's what the stage we're in.
Yeah.
Everyone's so prideful of everything. They're prideful about their sexuality,
I'm proud about my
their
sexuality.
anti-racism, their morality. They're so pride, and that pride begets the fall. And I forget what the quote is, but
I'm so excited.
you guys know what I'm talking about.
I'm so looking forward to the fall because everybody, whenever you watch America's Funniest Home Videos, I guarantee you, like 90% of the videos that get like the most money and get the most views are videos of people falling and getting hurt, and that's what I want to see. I want to see us fall.
You want to see it on a national
I
level?
want to see it on a national level of people falling. Like,
Anthony brings up a great point here too. He says Bill Gates and his farm ownership is concerning. Remember, we
Yes.
talked about that here on the stream. Bill Gates is
wants to own all the food.
the number one owner of farmland in America. Big question mark there.
He wants
Makes
to
you
own our
wonder.
food supply. That's
Well,
why.
if you link it to what I think he said today, that he wants people to eat. We shouldn't be eating real beef. We should be eating synthetic beef.
Yeah. Didn't you hear about the?
So he's got to have land to grow the beef.
Well, no, they're gonna they're gonna 3D print the beef.
That's a dystopian sentence if I've ever heard one before.
Have you heard about the 3D printed beef in Israel?
Oh yeah, yes.
Oh God, would you ever try it or would you not?
I'll try it for sure. Yeah.
You try it? I don't know if I would.
I
I'll let
wouldn't-
you
I wouldn't
try
eat
it.
it regularly, but I mean, that's coming from a guy who like chugs 18 gallons of diet soda a day.
It's true, yeah.
So I'm not, unless there's scientific data, I'm not going to be outwardly concerned about it.
I'll try it.
Again, just like with the vaccine, I'll wait for some long-term safety data.
Yeah, I'll wait and let other people try it and let other people.
No,
be
I
the
want to
guinea
kill my own
pigs.
animals.
Yeah.
I want to jump on the animal and then cut its throat with a
Slit
knife.
its throat and
And then
do a whole
cook it over a fire.
and then get your hand bloody and do the Viking thing.
yeah, and cook it over an actual fire. That's
Oh
what I
yeah,
want.
been watching Vikings on History Channel a little bit more, so I'm all into that.
The Vikings series, like with no, the Vikings on History Channel, like with Ragnar. Okay, yeah.
Ragnar Lothbrok.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say I know there's another Vikings. It's like a lower production value one. But
No,
the
the one
Vikings,
on History, yeah.
So a lot of this actually might stem from the fact that I did just recently finish that series, and I've got like the Viking
You're like,
explorer spirit in me now. I'm like, oh man, this is what we used to be like.
Ragnar
And now
was
look-
the first one to go west.
We used to be like that, and now we're just sitting in our pods, looking at a glass screen all day and eating our synthetic beef.
Oh hell yeah!
Eat the-
Sign me up.
I gotta get back to my ancestral roots. I gotta sail the seas.
Sail them seas, Jeremy.
Just remember, the Fed is pumping the dollar out. Hyperinflation is bound to hit. That's right. That's why you gotta get your crypto. Great Reset is in line with the UN Agenda 2030. U.S. is in hot water, and China becomes the world's police.
Oh, and then when that
Yeah,
happens,
no,
that's
no.
not going to be
See,
good.
the scary thing about that is that sounds like an actual viable outcome. Like that sounds totally legit
I think it's legit.
as a possibility.
Well, that's just because Bill's a pretty smart guy.
That too, but how much Bitcoin does China have? Yeah, probably a lot. China has huge mining rigs and warehouses. They are more than well
Oh yeah,
prepared.
they have so much of the precious earth metals and the precious earth minerals. They're good.
Yeah, Anthony, unfortunately, your comments and everybody else's comments in chat are being added to your social credit score. So
Yep, you're on a list too, Anthony. Sorry.
Holly just said fake beef no, so that's definitely minus 10 off the social credit score there.
Yeah, Holly, you got to get on that fake beef train, or else you're not going to be allowed to go anywhere, see anything, do
Yes,
anything.
thank you, Josiah. That was the exact quote I was talking about. Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Proverbs 16:18.
Okay.
Full quote. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep. And
I
I
mean,
can't wait for the fall. I just want to sit here with my popcorn and wait for these motherfuckers to trip over the rocks. It's going to be great.
Yeah, but you don't want to be in here when what happens.
That's true. I don't want to be outside. Maybe Japan
Yeah.
would be a good option.
Eat your bugs, bigot. Sit in your pod and eat your bugs.
Hell yeah, yummy.
Which is what they want you to do. I ate nearly a pound of flank steak tonight. Beef isn't for wimps. I don't think. Seriously, think about. We've got these vegan femme boys who have barely any testosterone in their body.
Yep.
Think about what the ramifications of those people reproducing for a few generations is. Are they even going to be able to process beef with their bodies anymore?
No, they're
Will
going
they
to raise
even be
their
able to-
babies to be vegan too.
Will they be able to digest anything but slime and like Soylent Green in a tube?
No.
Because they're all going vegan.
Yeah.
Vegan, I mean,
Veganism is really hot right now.
it's very trendy, but it destroys your body. So, that's what I'm saying. Long-term ramifications. This whole veganism thing just kind of got hot. Think long term what that's going to do to the people of this country. While people over in China, they're probably eating.
They're eating everything.
They're eating everything.
They're eating their own babies.
That's why they're eating pangolins and bats and shit.
Yeah, they're eating their own children too.
Those people are tough.
Oh yeah.
We're over here. We're just like, oh, I only eat organic kale juice. Oh my god.
And no meat, no dairy, none of that.
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's
no.
what
Devolving. That's what's happening to our people.
meat and meat byproducts is
Devolving.
what is propelled human evolution, in my opinion.
I don't think that's even an opinion. I think that's a fact in most scientific circles because the calorie density in meat is what allowed our brains to grow to the size that they are.
And also too, like.
But that's I mean, anyone who denies that is a science denier, though, aren't they?
Yeah, totally. I'm a science denier.
No. People who say that that's not true.
Oh.
Then science deniers that you shouldn't eat meat.
Oh. Well.
The vegetarians are science deniers. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
trying to
true.
say.
They
That's what I'm trying to
kinda
say.
Well,
The
they
vegans.
they have their own science to back up their shit. That's the thing.
That's right. Yeah, we have parallel
They
societies
have
in
their
terms of science goes.
They have their own science.
They can pull studies from their parallel scientific world.
Yeah, because
Which is why you cannot make the arguments that, oh, this science says this is right. So if you think you're going to go around convincing everybody that, the right way to do things based on science, no, that's not how it works anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say science has been infiltrated too. So
So don't think that you're going to go around and just be like, oh, well, you're not supposed to teach kids this. Science says you're supposed to do this, or you're not supposed to eat this. Science says, nope, doesn't matter.
Yeah, just get your
Don't
own
bother.
scientist. Yeah, just do what you want.
Science doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, science
You just pick and choose. Science, you can find any study to back up anything that you want to believe. You just pick the one that you want. I talked about on the last stream, transgender people are citing a study that says that cis women have no inherent advantage over transgender women have no inherent advantage over cis women in sports.
Oh, okay.
Talking about biological males have no advantage over biological females in sports. That study's probably not legit.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But it's a study.
Was that study
So they
done
can
by a
cite
tranny?
it. So they can pick it. They can cite it, and they can say, "Oh no, science agrees with me." So don't think you're gonna change anybody's mind with
Yeah.
science either.
Dari says they eat duck lips in China.
And that's probably why they're gonna kick our ass
Yeah, they are.
because they eat duck lips.
Because they can eat them duck lips.
They
They enjoy it.
duck lips and pig feet and all manner of who
Pig
knows what.
noses and oh yeah, they're shoving all kinds of stuff.
I'm
in
only
their
half
mouth.
joking with that, by the way. They're still very hardcore people over there, which
Oh, I know.
makes them, they're not. They can sniff out this BS, like feminism and stuff like that.
If they even get a whiff that their daughters might have an inkling of an idea of feminism, they immediately stone her.
Vegans get their energy from the sun. The darker your skin, the more power. That's why all these folks are starving in Africa and India. They feed off sunlight.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Bill.
Well, hopefully, we didn't. Again, I'm trying to do the doom and gloom because I'm priming your brain to accept new. Remember, guys, we're the orangutans in the forest, and the fruit is gone. That's where we're at right now.
Do we sit here and cry that the fruit's gone, or just go
don't-
find another batch of fruit?
Don't overcomplicate it, okay? Don't think about how media, big tech, universities, all these. No, just simplify the problem, and then you'll understand how easy the solutions are. Because that's what the big tech and these people want. They want you to be in a constant state of anxiety
Hell yeah.
and conflict with your fellow people. Because when you have all these ideas and stuff in your mind, you're always looking for ways that someone's trying to get over, trying to attack you, or you're offended or whatever it is. You need to withdraw from that system,
Yeah.
simplify the problem, and then understand where you're at in order to take the appropriate action.
Yep. When we're all divided and we're all anxiety ridden, it's easier to control us. It's easier to convince us to do the things that we don't normally want to do.
All I'm saying is let's go find some greener pastures with some fruit.
Hell yeah.
Right, so that doesn't necessarily mean
Greener
flying across the
pastures
world, but
with some fruit and some babes that will fan me and feed me grapes.
I like the sound of that.
I like the sound of that.
If you guys like the sound of that, make sure you subscribe because we'll talk about that more, I'm sure. Hit the like button on the follow and all that stuff. You can find our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. That's right, we're on all four.
All of them.
We're going to be expanding because we are, we don't stagnate here.
Yeah.
We're going to be expanding to stereo The app is called Stereo.
Video.
So if you guys want to maybe drop us, listen to us on Stereo and drop questions with your voice, you can talk to us.
Yeah.
Download the Stereo app, and we'll hopefully have it up and running by the next stream.
Yeah. I mean, we played around with it a little bit, so.
And if you're listening to the podcast, you can always watch a live stream. You should come and participate. It's really fun to hang out. You guys should see chat. Chat's on fire.
Yeah,
We're having
the chat is on fire today.
great conversations and everything. That's why we do it live. This is live. 2 hours straight live, nonstop talking. It's a lot harder than it sounds. But follow us on youtube.com/weekly narrative if you want to participate in that.
Yes, Bill, it's called Stereo.
Stereo. Yes. Aggressive expansion. That's what we do. Okay.
Yep.
So with that said, that's it for us, guys. We'll see you on Saturday at 7 p.m. right here.
Domingo for the Spanish speakers.
There you go. Multilingual, multicultural, so diverse.
Can't say that we're racist.
Diversity is our strength.
Hell yeah.
See you guys.
Let's do this. Bye now.